Big up, big up, big up, big up to all my mighty Reds out there. It's Liverpool 12th man. And today I'm going to be doing a preview show. It's going to be quick and short, um, and basically just get into the lineups. I got a busy weekend. It's going to be a crazy weekend, actually. Um, so, so yeah, 6 a.m. Got a 6 a.m. morning to watch this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have a concert tonight that I'm involved in, so that's going to be pretty hectic. But all the same, it's going to be like I think I'll be done like around 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I just roll right into this game basically, and then I gotta get back up and do it all over. So it should be fun. But today I wanted to just get into these lineups really. Primarily, I want to uh, uh, this weekend. Make sure, yeah, that was kind of weird. Just to make sure that we have a nice little visit to the beach. That's what I'm hoping for. At least, I'm sure that you're with me on hoping the same. But yeah, let's just get into the lineups. And thank you for joining me. If you're joining me live, and thank you for tuning in. Period. If you're just watching this on a replay, or just getting a concept or idea as to what we should look forward to coming up during the week or this weekend. So, all right, so basically, I don't think it's any real news alert. We're gonna I think the 4-3-3 is going to obviously be utilized with the inverted full. And with that said, I mean, because even with the inverted fullback, we've been seeing Gomez play in that role, anyways. However, we can go through pretty much the easy picks. So let's just start this off here. Who is starting in goal? Allison will certainly start in goal for us. And let's see. I think some of the other pretty much locked in picks. I believe Virgil will start, obviously. I believe that I'm kind of like picking through the basically the stand-ins, the ones that are definitely still hear me. Hopefully you can still hear me, even though I can see the swirls and I can see that my connection for some reason isn't the greatest yet, which kind of internet cable. So anyway, Virgil, I think, will be starting. Obviously, he'll be definitely our captain. Obviously, I think Robbo will start next to him. Um, I think Robbo's playing well. I think it's been definitely a little bit underappreciated, the work that he's put in. I think it's also a little underappreciated the fact that he tends to be Okay, back. I don't know what that was going on. Yeah, I know, Phil. I know that was really weird. Been it's acting up for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But hopefully, I'm back and you can see me. Hopefully, uh, I'll just pop these in real quick so that I can get them all in there for you guys. But yeah, so for some reason I got frozen there. I had to hop out, hop back in. That's never happened to me before on StreamYard. Unfortunately, it is our first for everything, I guess. so yeah, we're just going through the lineups and trying to do this before I have to bounce out. I got to go and link up with some cool artists for tonight. But yeah, looking at the lineup, we're looking at again a 4-3-3. What I was going to do here is I'm just going to put them in separately on the other screen before I bring up this screen for you guys, because apparently maybe that's causing the mix up or causing the system to freeze up. I don't want it to freeze up and get clipped up. Have a bad picture of me out there. Okay, cool. Philip, what is your ideas on the lineups too? By the way, tell me what you think is going to be like your lineup for this weekend. I'd love to hear it. I always love to interact with the Mighty Red Army out there, and just kind of get an idea as to what you're feeling, what you're thinking is going, what you expect to get, especially since we have a depleted roster, whether it's because of injury or / red cards. Yeah, I'd like to know what you're thinking we're going to be looking at this weekend. I personally think that our back line is going to be pretty standard as in the people that we get. But I think that the one exception is going to be that I think we're going to see Matip play. Big up, John Conway. Big up. I think that we're going to see I definitely think we're going to see Matip play, primarily because one, I definitely want him to know that we all, we're all behind him, in the sense of like, not the own goals happen. Unfortunately, it resulted in us losing. It was resulting in us like in a great effort. He had a great game that game. It's unfortunate that it went that way, but it is what it is. Putting that aside, I really think that we're going to see him play, possibly because we saw Konate, we saw Ibu play, against in the Europa game. I think that alone, that is probably why we'll see him play in this role. I think we'll see him play on Sunday, and then we're going to come to this midfield again. I like to emphasize that for me, and John and Philip and whoever else is going to be joining, or whoever else has joined us, please definitely tell me what you guys think about what is your starting lineup. I'd love to hear what your starting lineup is. And if you're seeing this on the replay, then tell me what your lineup is in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'll always comment. I'll always interact with people that leave comments, because I think that that's so important. I don't want you to think that I really appreciate and when I do see interaction of the Mighty Red Army out there with me. So whenever it does, trust me, I never let you walk alone. So I think that the midfield, though, once again, is going to be a very interesting mix. It's been Klopp has really been putting us, kind of like, I don't say all over the place, but definitely in positions where we have to figure out what exactly is it that we're seeing in the midfield. And that is not because it's a bad midfield. I think our midfield is possibly one of the best, if not the best midfield in the Premier League. It gets, and I hope that those in the Mighty Red Army here, I hope that these Mighty Reds recognize and start to stick up for our players a little bit more, because I see a lot of people, not anyone in the chat, not anyone that normally even tunes into my channel or contributes to the channel at all. But I tend to see on other channels, especially rival channels, that they just think that like, oh, we don't have a midfield. They always do that really horrible dig at Endo where they say, oh, they don't have a 6, they don't, and all this other stuff. And I can't emphasize this enough. I think that we have a 6 in Endo, period. But we do have also McAllister. We have obviously, Thiago's had a setback, but Bajcetic hasn't been playing there really that much. But we do have other options for that role in playing that role and playing the midfielder role, that center midfielder role. And I think that sometimes it's hard to get your head wrapped around it because we're so used to seeing DMs play. We're so used to. I had a comment say, "Oh well," a commentator, I think it was on a transfer room, say something on like, "Tell me the last time a team has won without a DM," and I can tell you this much: I don't think. Tell me the last time, well, other than City, tell me the last time before Liverpool that a team won and had a world-class or a dominant DM, had a player that was significant in the role and was a significant player and significant in the sense of he was a major part or major portion of what you got to see on the field and how he contributed. I don't think we get to see that too often. Rodri, I get it. Like, as a lot of people want to say Rodri, I understand it, and I'm willing to say that Rodri has now taken over the mantle of being the best DM in the possibly in the world, if not like especially in the Premier League, But I think that is what it is. With City, they're an anomaly in a sense in themselves. But when you go and look at the other teams that you really consider really positive or really powerful teams in this league, there's really not that many DMs that you could say, oh, that DM is like a game changer. Oh, that DM is this or that. If I'm wrong, or if you think I'm wrong, I'd love to hear some of the names that you'll bring up, because I can often tell you a lot of the names that are going to possibly be brought up, which is you might bring up Casemiro, or you might bring up even Caicedo. We can all see what they're doing on their teams, and it's an interesting process of weighing down the fact that we have a hybrid DM, if you want to call it that. Okay, we have a hybrid DM in that our center midfielder or our DM plays more like a center midfielder. Not all teams have to have a DM; they just don't. Some teams have a midfield that has a left, right, and a center midfielder. And sometimes that midfielder that we're utilizing, McAllister, has defensive midfielder, characteristics or skills, I should say, that he can utilize them and be able to help and be able to turn and receive the ball and be able to progressively carry the ball forward. And that's what we have. And that's why I'm thinking that one unique thing about having Wataru is that by having him, we now have a player that when we need a actual DM, or we need more concentration on defense, we can place that player in that position. But other than that, I think that this, with the amount of offensive threats and the amount of offensive power, that we have on this team, it's a matter of, I just look at it as like we're a finely tuned sports car. I don't know, take your preference, Ferrari, Porsche, I don't know, McLaren, whatever you're into, okay? You can tell me what you're into, I don't care. Whatever, what's your favorite car? What's your dream car, I guess, But even if you have that sports car tuned up to have like high RPMs, and that's what our team has when it comes to the high intensity, high impact, and really, really engaging players. That's what we tend to see in this team. And that's one thing that I do like about this team, is that we have that gear shift. We can shift gears and put players in and continue to just up the ante, up the ante, up the ante, and just continue to go through these gears effortlessly. Whether it's bringing in Elliott, whether it's bringing in, whether it's utilizing Curtis Jones, whether it's just trying to think of some other like instant impact. Instant impact. When you put in Elliott, it's instant impact. It could be Doak. It could be, even when you have Gomez. Gomez has been much maligned last year, but he's really turned the page on last year and has progressed into an excellent player, I think, in my mind. So again, we're going to be looking at an interesting lineup because I think that we're going to see something of a hybrid version of what normally people think is the typical lineup. We're so used to seeing Fabinho in that DM role and the results and the amount of cover and the amount of just work rate that he utilized that we can't even go through and say much of that. Oh, big up Corvo and UFC. I like it. Newcastle in the house. I feel you, brother. Big up. Join the group and join the party. Let's call it. So yes. So I think that we could see it go one of two ways this weekend. I think that the way that Klopp's going to utilize this is that he's going to put in a team and try to get some continuity with different groups. It hurts that we have the red cards. It hurts that we're going to be having people that aren't going to be showing up because of those red cards. And also hurts that we're not going to have some of these players be able to play because of injury, whether it's Thiago and such. But I still think that we're going to see some real differences when it comes to play. Let me share with you guys my team. So this is the team I think is going to be, again, I'd love to see what you guys think. What you guys feel is going to be your team. So this is the team I think is going to play for us this weekend. I got Robbo. The back line pretty much standard with Allison, obviously, as in goalkeeper. I also have Matip in for Konate, since Konate played in Europa. It's not a dig. It's not saying that he doesn't deserve to play or this and that. None of that. It's the fact of Matip and Konate both partner so well with Virgil so that they're interchangeable. And by doing so, you're going to be able to manage. Obviously, big up Brian in the house. Big up Internet Genius. By doing so, you have Matip and you have Ibu being able to manage their minutes, being able to have them interchangeable, and being able to kind of figure out when and where you want to play them. And let me just say this: I was happy to see Konate. Obviously, I'm a big fan and supporter of Happy Kwanzaa. So when it comes to seeing him play, I'm so happy to see it. When I heard Klopp say that in the press conference originally, long before he started get his play. This is during when he was pressed to be linked to a loan deal, possibly. I still thought that, Kwanzaa was a talented player. I thought that we need to continue to progress our youth. So therefore, big up, bullish. Big up. I still think that I still thought that seeing him with Konate was great because one, I want to see Ibu start to grow into a leadership role. I like the fact that he has been he's definitely well loved and liked. He's a jokester. He's sort of like, he brings that great energy to the locker room, similar to what I said about Robbo earlier. I love that, and that's important. I agree. This is what Brian has to say too, and I agree with what Brian has to say too. He's saying same team for me. Konate or Matip, no issues either way. I don't have an issue either way. I'm saying that I think that the Virgil works well with Matip or Konate, and both Matip and Konate both bring distinctive qualities to their game that are somewhat different in that I like Matip's ability to progress the ball forward with his advanced dribbles, and I like obviously Konate's aggression and his physicality and his ability to not be scared to go into tackles. Sometimes it's a little bit too much, or let's not say not too much. Sometimes it's a little bit like hey, just keep your feet. But even if he goes to ground, chances are he really does believe that he's got the ability to do so. So okay, let me see what this is a very interesting comment. It's the same 11. Philip saying that's the same 11, I think, but I wouldn't be against Happy Kwanzaa, or I'm saying Happy Kwanzaa partnering, partnering VVD if Klopp decision to do that. Now, this is where I would love to see Kwanzaa play. I like seeing Kwanzaa play, and I enjoy seeing the progression of Kwanzaa. The one thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see him get burnt out. Two, you can see him starting to get his legs and getting his fitness properly incorporated in this game, because it is a different mindset to play a Premier League game. But also, they're linking Kwanzaa to be more of that Virgil van Dijk role in that left center back role. So if it means, I don't know if I could see Virgil and Kwanzaa playing in a tandem together. I more likely see, if we're going to see Kwanzaa, it's most likely going to be either with Matip or with a more veteran or senior presence in Matip or Konate, obviously, as we saw this past weekend. I just think it's like it's a little bit possibly too early to start putting Kwanzaa in that everyday starter role in a sense, or not every day, but at least like a couple back-to-back starter roles. We're not in a crisis when it comes to center back, but I do like the idea and concept of rotation to keep everyone fresh and going. So another comment on here is, with Jones, Hatta, and Hackbo out of the team, kind of picks itself. I agree. The front line picked itself because of Hatta and Hackbo being injured, and Hatta being on a red card. That the front line is going to pick itself for the most part now, because those are like basically our only other options. I don't see us putting in Doak, to be honest with you, over Salah in a game like this. And then when it comes to the midfield, a little bit of a different story. For the midfield, I could see some definite differences or changes when it comes to the midfield. We could possibly see Endo start this match. I think that personally, what we're going to do is we're going to take on this game in a high gear. I think that we're going to press obviously high with a high line. We're going to continue. We're going to put a lot of energy involved into it, and we're going to also involve a lot of not only intensity, but we're going to utilize McAllister as that holding midfielder. That's more so a little bit of a regista in the sense that he's going to be more of a facilitator, turn around, be an easy outlet for Allison to be able to give the ball to, so he can turn and pinpoint passes to whoever he needs to pinpoint, or be able to turn, obviously with Trent in that inverted role, Allison will have that outlet, and having McAllister and Trent there is going to be a great combination of the two. But we could see Endo, and I think that we will see Endo at some point, if not starting. But if it ends up being starting, it's a different story. If we end up starting Endo, I think that not only will he play the DM, obviously, but I think what you'll see is McAllister will still start. He'll just take over Gravenberch's Ryan's position on the field. But I think that Ryan has really starting to gain favor with Klopp. I think he's really starting to gain favor in the sense of that he's believing, not only he sees a talent, but he also is gaining favor in the sense of he wants to utilize him more so that he can get familiarity with his teammates, and also he could utilize him more in that he can understand his role on this team a little bit better, So yeah, so it looks like a lot of people are going with the same team that I put out here. John Conway says he's going with the same team as I. Let's definitely do. Like great minds think alike. Let's see. Brian's also saying this is a comment about Kwanzaa. Yeah, it's too early for Kwanzaa in the league while others are fit. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I think I've said this before. I said this as a point of reference to a lot of people this year, is that I think personally it was somewhat of a blessing that we got Europa. I mean, like a silver lining blessing. I wanted obviously Champions League, but being that we're in Europa, it's going to allow for a lot of different lineups and players, and to keep a team happy with minutes, to keep a team fresh by resting players, like, you know, by not having. If we had Champions League, we would be seeing Salah. Salah would have played, you know, earlier this week, and then we would have to worry about him obviously not burning out, but necessarily like having him play again and playing so many different games, and then having that option be a weary option possible when it comes to FA Cup, League Cup, two competitions. I want to win. I know you want to win, and I know we can win. So yeah. So this is pretty much the lineup I think that we're going to see when it comes to Liverpool. So when it comes to, I'm going to bring this down real quick. Let me put up, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put up also Brighton's lineup, or what I think Brighton's going to play with, okay? And it should be interesting because they play a 4-2-3-1. That also is going to have a real determination of how and what players we're going to utilize, because with a 4-2-3-1, you already have 5 players in that midfield. So it forces us to do, if you saw my tactics Tuesday, it forces us to do a hexagon somewhat in the midfield, where we tend to bring like another player in as like this point, 2 points, like the DM point and a CM, and he's not playing a 10, but he's pushing into almost like a 10's role in a sense when it comes defensively. And then you have that box, the box midfield surrounding it. So, and in that box midfield at the 2 tips or in the middle, as being another triangle, you have the DM and you have your forward usually as your presser. I think that's what's going to happen to result in this weekend, because a 4-2-3-1 is most likely what we'll see Brighton play. Okay. So let's get these guys in here. Brighton's team. Brighton's been unique. I know Brighton's gotten a lot of love. I think they're a talented team, talented coach. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this down real quick because for some reason it continues to freeze up my thing. So I'll put together the lineup and then I'll bring it up so it doesn't freeze the situation. I know, man. I even bought some more software to kind of take care of the freezes. That Brian's telling me I'm freezing, but for some reason it's McAfee. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with you. But yeah, what I was saying is that their form hasn't been great in the past 5 games. In the past 5 games, their form has not been great at all. Now, albeit Brighton has had our number in the last 5 games that we've gone against them. Brighton's had 2 wins. We've only had 1 win, and we've had 2 draws. Okay, so Brighton definitely has had our number slightly. When it comes to our matches against them, it hurts. It definitely hurts. Also, yeah, I'll do. I'm actually not going to be doing a call-in today because I have a big. I have a concert that I'm doing. That I'm a part of. That I'm actually a part of. With some of the artists, I'm affiliated with some of the artists that are going to be performing, and I have to go and I'm doing like a meet and greet with them and all this other stuff. So I'm not able to do a call in today. But just tell me your comments, and and I'll definitely post them. We can comment and everything else. That way I can just get I can definitely at least get the info and like engage with you guys tomorrow during the early broadcast. But if you look at our forum, we've had out of the past 5, we've had 4 wins, 1 loss. Obviously the loss is definitely has an asterisk next to it. But Brighton had a loss, a win, 2 losses in a row, and then a draw in their Europa game. And they definitely, they definitely didn't look great in that game early. They definitely put it together late when it came to, really getting their team together when it came to that game, because they were down 2-0 and then they ended up drawing 2-2. But I know that most likely they will be prepared, and they will be prepared for us. But it also means that a lot of their players have been they've been run ragged. Like it's going to be a real precedent of their depth of squad, and also not only their depth of squad, but what's unique about it too is that they have a lot of players that that they're relying on that are a little bit. I wouldn't say. I don't know if we're going to see Milner, for instance, this weekend. I don't think we. I mean, we possibly will, maybe later on in the game, or something along those lines. But I don't think we'll see them. I don't think we'll see him start. But I do think that their lineup is an interesting lineup. They have been messy, as Brian said. They've written off games, and it's something that I think that should be interesting to see if they end up trying to go toe-to-toe with us this weekend, because I truly don't think that their lineup is deep enough to do that. That's the one unique thing about our lineup. It's the reason why I referenced the whole thing about our ability to continue to shift gears on this, this Ferrari, and I'll go Ferrari since that's what Klopp likes. So I'm a McLaren guy, but still, whether it's McLaren, Ferrari, whatever your preference is, I think that you're going to see a lot of that be pressed on, and it's going to be very interesting. I think how we see Matip deal with Ferguson this weekend. I think that's what it's going to end up being. Is that he's going to probably be the man marker when it comes to Ferguson. Because I think that you're going to be utilizing a lot of different diagonals from Virgil, and he's going to be more implemented into the lineup. When Matip does go forward with his advanced dribbles, then you'll see Virgil probably switch off to keep an eye on Ferguson. But I like Ferguson. I think he's a good player. I think obviously he said what it is, what he said with the whole thinking that he wouldn't get playing time here. I think if anything, it's a precedent of we tend to see a lot of players nowadays get playing time despite not being despite your age, because it's the reason why we're seeing why Besiktas starts games, why we see all these different players. So what, Ferguson had the opportunity. He chose Brighton. Good for you. And Brighton is a team certainly that will allow for you to grow, to be somewhat of a player. So let's see what else we have here. So I'm trying to get all these players in here for you real quick. What do you guys? Who do you guys think? Who's the player you guys think is? Who's the player that you're most worried about when it comes to Brighton? what player do you think is going to be, if we end up getting our common 3-1 score, who do you think is going to be that goal scorer for Brighton? I'm hoping we get a clean sheet. It'd be great to see us get a clean sheet against Brighton. And do I think it's possible? They have a lot of firepower. I think it is a possibility that we could still see that, but it isn't it is one that is certainly difficult possibly to see. I can't. Yeah, there he is. And let's see. So Ferguson is Brian's. Okay. And Ferguson, everyone's putting Ferguson. That's very interesting. I personally think that Ferguson is an issue, or not an issue. He is someone that I have my focus on this weekend to see what happens, especially with our high line, and to see what how well our matchups can do against, really putting him in his place, if that's the polite way of putting it. Okay. But I also think that names like that. But I also think that Matoma is a bad boy, and Matoma is the person that I'm possibly the most concerned about, not necessarily in his finishing abilities, but more so in his pace and his ability to progress the ball. That is probably one of the biggest concerns for me when it comes to players that I think could possess a definite issue. They do have threats everywhere. I can understand that. I mean, Lamptey could be. You could put Lamptey maybe in that in that boat. You could possibly put Welbeck in that boat, in the sense of that, Welbeck does definitely, I wouldn't say concern, but he is someone that definitely looks to get involved when it comes out of their offense through Ferguson. Just as I think Brian just said it too. It says, but Ferguson is the main goal threat if he plays. Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, big up to Jordy. Hello, lads, for sure. Yeah, I think that it is cool to see. It is cool to see this lineup that we're going to be facing, because it's going to definitely be a real measure test, to say the least, when it comes to what we're going to what our defense can maintain, and what our offense can force Brighton into, when it comes to having to adjust their lineups or adjust their formations, and that's something that I think you're going to really get to see this weekend. So let's see. So I have Lamptey. Let me move this guy over here. Move him over here. Start. I don't know if he's definitely going to start or not. I got Gilmore. I got March. You know who he won't. I don't know if Welbeck will start, to be honest with you. I'm going to think out of the box here, and I'm going to go with, I don't know. I think we'll either see João Pedro possibly start. It depends if they really want to go, head to head with us, or they really want to go 2 for 2 with us, or however you say it, because I think either it'll be João Pedro or it'll be Welbeck that ends up starting. I think it's going to be Pedro. Should I stick with Pedro? Because if it's easier to start Welbeck and then put Pedro in, despite that, but and If Lamptey doesn't play, that'd be great. By the way, Brian's saying this. Lamptey might not start either. He said he was lacking fitness, so it could be Igor at left back. That's a shout. That's definitely a shout. If it ends up being that, because right now, well, most likely won't see Milner because he's a doubtful. I think he'll make a solid effort to try to be a part of the lineup, seeing Liverpool come back into his new home confides. But I know Lallana's out. They have Esteputin out. They have Encicio out, and Milner's a doubt. But I haven't brought up the lineup yet. I'm gonna bring the lineup right now. So I didn't put it up because I don't want to make sure that it's not freezing or anything stupid like that. So I'm gonna share this lineup that I think is going to be. This is the lineup I think it's going to be. Ferguson at the tip of the spear. We'll have March, João Pedro, Mitoma. We'll have Gross, Gilmore, Veltman on the. It could be Webster possibly starting there. So that's a toss-up, but I'm going to stick with Van Heck. I think they might try to bring in a little bit of they might stick with height and try to match us with our height, because definitely I think that one unique thing about us is that we've been aerially dominant this year. And then also, if Lamptey doesn't start, and we do see, as Brian was saying, if we do end up seeing Igor, I think that back line is going to really, really be pressed against a starting lineup of having possibly the fastest front three, or the most pace that we have in our front three. I think that could easily be said. Obviously the front three that we have with Diaz, Nunez, and Salah is possibly the most pace and the most lethal front three when it comes to putting pressure and putting pace and really putting pressure on that back line. And that's why I think McAllister will start. And I think that we'll see Endo once we get up, once we surmount a big enough lead. I don't think that we're going to try to press it into a higher gear. I think that's when we'll see Endo come in to provide defensive cover or to provide some stability defensively, as we'll most likely see a switching of emphasis by Brighton in itself. So, but yeah, it could be João Pedro. It could be, again, it could be hopefully this doesn't cause it to freeze up here. Welbeck. It could easily be Welbeck too. So most likely we'll see one of these lineups. I know I had João Pedro in before, but I can kind of see where it's more likely you get as much as you can out of Welbeck, and then you would probably bring in João Pedro as an emphasis on trying to shift gears and trying to put more emphasis on pace and youth and legs, because that's not what you're going to get out of Welbeck in the latter stages of the game. What are you guys thinking as we're going to get into we're going to be ending here pretty soon. So what are you guys feeling when it comes to, and I'll bring this back to just me. What are you guys feeling when it comes to, put this here. What are you guys feeling when it comes to scores? So let's get into score up. You know what? I usually don't do scores because I don't like to jinx it or anything like that, yada yada. But I do think that we're going to see. I do think that we're going to see a pretty high-scoring game. Saying that, and again, I don't want to see me jinx it, but I have a couple of ranging bets in. Either 3-1 or 4-1 is primarily the scores that I'm wavering over. If we end up getting a clean sheet, I'd like to see a 4-0 win. That's not trying to say anything negative against Brighton. I'm just thinking that, you know what, I think that they'll get their opportunities. I think the difference will be in the sense that we just have the best goalkeeper in the world. I think that makes a difference. And that could be the difference in us getting a clean sheet or not having a clean sheet, obviously, because they're going to get their opportunities. They're going to get their shots. They're going to get their chances. I'm hoping that, we can shut a lot of that down with our lineups. But, I'm also looking at it being something that we capitalize on this weekend is the fact that we're going into international break, the fact that, Brighton has been suspect to letting in goals. I think that considering the teams that have scored on them, a lot of the teams that have scored on them, I don't think are anywhere near the amount of offensive capabilities that we have. With that said, that's why I'm looking for a high score. I'm going to put up some of your guys' scores of what you guys think. Let's see. Brian is saying he's looking at a 4-2 win. John is saying that he's looking at 3-1 with Salah, Nunez, and Diaz scoring. Okay, that'll be cool. That'll be definitely cool. I have Nunez scoring a hat trick. How about that? Nunez, Invasor. If Invasor scores a hat trick, we got to start calling him Invasor. We got to start pressing that. We'll see that. See if that starts to finally click. It's a little homage to his Uruguayan, obviously his roots, and also homage to possibly the greatest racehorse of all time in Uruguay history. It's also a homage to what Klopp called him, which is he thinks of him as a racehorse, as a thoroughbred. And I think that our ambassador, which means invader or raider, is going to raid that back line and get 3. That's what I hope, at least. It'd be great if he does. But yeah, I would love to see that happen. Let's see. Any more scores? Tell me some of you guys' scores. I want to hear it. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to put them in. It could definitely go a couple different ways. But you know what? I like Philip's score here. 2-0, the same. 2-0, the same as it was on your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way. Happy belated birthday, Philip. If that's the case, for sure. Big up. And who else? What else? Any other scores out there? Like I said, 3-1, 4-1 tend to be the 3-1 tends to be our score of choice. I think though that we could see some real fun things go down this weekend in a lot of like high energy, a lot of action, a lot of end-to-end style action. It should be interesting to see who wins the possession game. I don't know. I don't think that Brighton's going to necessarily sit back and allow for us to control possession. I don't think that we'll do the same against them, considering they have so many outlets that can create conflicts for us. So yeah. Brian's saying hopefully Darwin gets a double, gets a couple. Oh, excuse me, a couple. I think so too. Yeah, I would. Hey man, I'm looking for that 3. Looking for that 3. That'd be great. That would definitely help me out a lot. So 3-1. I'm gonna go 4-1 as being my score. 4-1 is the score I'm gonna settle on. 4-0. If we can get a clean sheet, be fantastic. I know I'm giving out a lot of scores, but 4-1 is my score. 4-0 is we get a clean sheet, and I hope that. And my default score is 3-1. Obviously, being that 3-1 is our go-to when it comes to scoring. But yeah, so that's like pretty much the what we have on deck when it comes to this weekend. Big up for every and every one of you that joined, whether you're part of the Mighty Red Army or whether you're a guest here. I saw a lot of Geordies in the chat. I definitely am friendly and show love to Newcastle supporters. I show love to even though it's a little bit at a tethered edge right now, but I have been showing love towards Tottenham. This is a forum that you don't have to be a Mighty Red to join, but I mean, it helps to see Mighty Reds help me walk on along in this effort to show love and respect to each and every one of us, to show each and every one of us that our club is a club that has to have that heart pounding and that badge pounding aspect of life for all of us. So big up to Baz in the house. LVFCTV in the house. Baz is one of my main homies. And despite him being laid up, hopefully, the hospital visit went well. And I hope that, your recovery elsewise is going well, of course. So if you haven't, go show love to his channel, people. Big up to Nilante. Nilante is one of my main soldiers, definitely one of the generals in the fight here. He's saying, oops, I pushed the wrong button here. He's saying he's looking for a 2-1 victory. This is a test from our dreadful performances last season. We owe them one. Hopefully Nunez can get his shooting boots on. Gravenberch has to start. Interesting, very interesting. I think that seeing Gravenberch start will definitely show Klopp's assistant or Klopp's confidence and reliance on going with players in form, and also going and showing the fact that everyone and anyone can have an opportunity to contribute to this team. And I think that that's what we're going to definitely see. Oh, well, I can't forget my frontline infantry brothers. Definitely frontline infantry every day, all day. You know what I mean? Every day, all day. So big up to Brian, of course, for sure. Excuse me. So yeah, so 2-1. I heard 2-1. I heard 3-1. I heard 2-0. I've heard 3 scores by me, being 4-1, 4-0, and 3-1. Obviously, the score I'm going with is 4-1. That's the score I have on paper. But you got to play the odds. So when I put in for my wagers this weekend, I put in for all 3 of the other scores I mentioned. And let's hope to see a hat trick. You heard it here. Because I'm hoping that that my streak can continue here. Knock on wood here. Whatever you got to do, rub the magic rabbit foot. Whatever you got to do to get the right mojo going. Because we had a definite great. I thought it was a very, very interesting game for Europa this past week. Our past game. It was cool because we got to see Gravenberch get his first goal, which is the reason why I had so many bets in this weekend, because I hit on that one. And then we also got to see who else? Who else? Because I hit on the second person too. Who else was our second goal? It's sad that I'm going blank on who was our second goal. Oh, excuse me. How could I forget? Hata the Shata, the Shata. Okay. Doing the. We won't be seeing him this weekend, but people, give respect on. I know Brian's not big. I know you're not big on Diego. I know that Benjamin Barnes would be simply because of injuries. He would sooner see Ivan Toney with this team in place of Hata. I am not on that boat, not in that camp in any ways, in any form. I think the fact that we have a player that is such a clinical striker, whether he plays in the left wing, whether he's playing in the center forward position, and the fact that he's, I'm not a Swiftie, or I think that's what they call him, that the bow thing was a shout out to his Taylor Swift loved, but I got you, Maybe he heard that Taylor Swift likes football players. Unfortunately, it's American football players. But but maybe he's trying to give her a shout and give her a hello with some jazz hands and the archer. But yeah, pretty funny stuff. You gotta love Hata. Definitely Dustin. Big up Dustin. You gotta love the guy. My fault. I didn't mean to take it, bring it up and bring it down so quickly. You gotta love him. You gotta love him, and that's the thing about it. You gotta love him because he is not only one of our most clinical strikers, but he's also someone that is so ingrained and incorporated into the system. He's so well versed in knowing what Klopp wants from whether he's on the left wing or center and everything else. I know I'm talking about a player that's not going to be playing against Brighton. I just wanted to give props to the player because I love Hata and I love the fact that he's on our team. I know a lot of people are putting it out there that he might, looks like he doesn't like the energy, or they don't think that some of his goals celebrations are giving like maybe signals that he's having issues with playing here. I don't think so. I know that we had reports about Salah agreeing to terms apparently with the Saudi club. I don't understand why, other than I get that the Saudis are trying to put pressure and put a lot of things out there to try to make this move happen. I know that Saudis are also very instinctive on trying to get the players that they want and need, but it's just getting infuriating. Look, Salah's a red. Hopefully he'll stay a red, and just turn down the volume. If anything, hit the power off. It's freaking October, people. Not people, but I mean, like in chat, not people that watch this later, because obviously your heads are in the right dimension and hemisphere when it comes to stratosphere, at least when it comes to the Salah talks. It's just such annoyance. But Salah is a red. Hopefully he's a red to stay. It's so interesting how so many people, you get on these other channels or you hear these other channels and all of them have him, oh yeah, they need to, Liverpool needs to act on it. They need to get this money. They need to do this. They need to do that. Oh, they should be happy with him getting, the offer that they're getting. I'm just like, volume down, power off. Mighty Reds, stand up. Mighty Reds Army, stand up. Don't even go for the okie doke. Pass that garbage to the side. He's a red. He's committed, and I'm looking for great things from him this year. I've heard people say, I heard a Spurs guy talk about, oh, Salah is declining in his output. Dog, turn off the the fake news, just the BS. Infuriates me. So we got to get these numbers up, people. We got to get these numbers up. My subscriptions, engagement, comments, like, subscribe. I mean, like, we need all these things to be up. We need them to not only be up, we need them to be in that stratosphere, 100K type stratosphere, because I want to be a voice for this team, for this effort of fighting back against a lot of these, not only haters and rivals, but some of these scrolls amongst us, and just be out there just so we can just feel the goodness about this team. I can't stress enough that, excuse me, I can't stress enough that sometimes, we have to understand there's a Ferris Bueller effect. It's that, and then I might be dating myself. Wait 1 second. Excuse me. It's a Ferris Bueller effect in that life moves fast. Life moves fast. Sometimes if you don't like stop and look around, it might pass you by. I know I'm paraphrasing. I might be even getting that quote kind of wrong there. I see I'm a little choppy too. But yeah, it's one of those things where I can't stress enough. This team is going to be a fun and very, very special team. This is year one of having this combination. We're going to continue to evolve and grow this team. We're going to make acquisitions, I believe, in January to further cement and make a really solid run in hopefully all the competitions. And I really, really hope and I hope and pray that it's so dry. I really hope and pray that that we have the opportunity to enjoy this ride together. That's what I see it as, because I'm all about I love the moniker of "You'll never walk alone." It means so much to me. It means so much to see that you guys tune in, that you're showing love, that you're hitting the like button or sharing this with your friends or your family, with rivals. I don't care, as long as we just continue to progress this forward, so that I want to be a presence to be able to combat a lot of the BS, and I understand that. I get that. He's saying if you want those numbers, you'll need to stream every day and do watch-alongs for every live match just to start. I most likely will not do watch-alongs, considering sometimes the watch-alongs are 4 a.m. in the morning, and the closest to watch-along I'm doing, unless you guys want to watch me like lying in bed, it's going to be sometimes it's a difficult process for that to happen. So yeah, I do plan on pressing it. I do plan on doing the best of getting out there to do content every day, whether it's short, whether it's long, whether it's whether it's engaging with just a solo, whether it's out there, it's taped commentary, whether it's one where we're going to bring in panels, whether it's call-ins. All these different concepts, all these different formats are things that I definitely want to continue to bring out there. I want to continue to progress it forward, to say that, what it comes down to is we need to understand that this team is a special team. And I hope that we all understand that. So I'm going to end it before I get too much on a tangent. I got to get on the road. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining. Please do hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed and hit the notification buttons for when I do obviously broadcast, to look for me. I'm doing my earnest effort to have it be seven. Be the lucky 7, so you can keep that number in your head for when it comes to UK time. 7 p.m. is when I'll always look to broadcast, or at least try to broadcast in that time slot. And I hope that you'll join me. I hope that you are part of the Mighty Reds Army. I hope that you continue to press forward. If you're a guest here again, greetings, salutations, and enjoy the stay. If we can, bring you into our camp. Understand that we all show love for each other, and we always press on together. So with that said, I bid you adieu. I will see you most likely tomorrow in some facility, whether on Twitter or X, or on a live broadcast here. But other than that, hey guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and continue to walk on. I'm Liverpool 12th man, and we are out.